Hi there, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the CURT T-Connector custom wiring kit with 7-way plug on our 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Adding a wiring kit is absolutely essential if you plan on doing any towing at all with your Santa Cruz. It's going to keep you safe and legal while you're towing a trailer. One advantage of adding a 7-way onto the back of the vehicle would be in case your trailer has brakes. You will most likely need a 7-way to control those brakes, along with a supplemental brake controller, which we have available here at eTrailer. Our neighbor today chose the 7-way just because he already has a trailer that has a 7-way plug on it. So he opted for just going ahead and getting a full 7-way plug on the back of his hitch here. If you're towing multiple trailers, maybe you have one that has a 4-pole, one that has a 7-way, you can install this, be just fine. You'll just have to get an adapter that will adapt it to also work with a 4-pole connector, and we also have those available here at eTrailer. Here's what the 7-way looks like on the back of our Santa Cruz today. You will have to come up with a way to mount it. One of the nice things about the hitch our neighbor chose in this draw tight here is that it came with a bracket to mount our 7-way mounting bracket, which we had to get separately, and we also had to find our own hardware for it. So just keep an eye out on our website. If you're planning on adding this onto the back of your car, you will need to add this bracket separately. But this is how it looks like. As you can see, it's not going to sit much lower than our hitch here with the way we have mounted up, and it looks nice and neat. Once again, if you're planning on towing with your Santa Cruz, it's absolutely essential to add a wiring kit like this one today. It's just going to give you the ability for your trailer to be seen when you're out there on the road. It will light up your turn signals when you're turning, and your brake lights when you're stopping, and also your daytime running lights. So if you're looking for a 7-way for your Santa Cruz, I don't think you can go wrong with the CURT here. As far as installation goes, it's super easy as long as you have the factory tow package. It's just a matter of getting access to that wiring harness there, plugging it in, and routing all your wires and mounting it. So if that's not something that you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the space or the time to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. However, if you are planning on doing this yourself, then feel free to follow along, and I'll show you how we set up ours today. We'll begin our install here under the rear driver's side. This plastic box is actually covering up our wiring harness that we need to get access to. So we just have 3 push pins here at the bottom, and then 2 plastic screws that we'll get to. So I just have a trim panel tool here. You could also use a flathead screwdriver or something. You just have to work your way under that center and pull it out. So I got all 3 of those out there. And for these, you most likely can just kind of turn them with your hand. One thing I like to do is pull down on the box while you're turning it. Because sometimes if you just turn it, it won't actually unthread. So we'll just work both of these out, and this plastic box should pull right out. Now with that pulled down, we'll see our factory harness here. This is the one we're actually going to work with. It's actually pinned into the inside of this box. So back on this side, I'm just going to push in on that part of the clip to release it. So once again, I was just pushing in on this tab. You may also need to push on the bottom tab. But now we're ready to get everything hooked up. Now we're ready to plug our harness in. I'll just give you a rundown on what we have here. This is the end that plugs into our 7-way, and then there's just wires running to our module here, and then a fuse block, which make sure you have the fuse uninstalled while we're installing it, just in case anything goes wrong during the installation process. We'll install that as our last step. And this plug is going into our factory harness here. So before we do that, we actually need to remove this dummy plug here. It's just a push tab, and then it should pull out. Then we'll take our new wiring harness and slide it on. Actually goes this way. Make sure it clips in. You may have to kind of wiggle it back and forth. Just make sure that clip engages. And now we'll have to find a good spot for our module to stay. It's got all of our extra slack tied up. I bundled a little loop there and zip tied to the hitch right here. My main concern was just making room for the spare tire to come down and go back up, and we don't have to worry about anybody accidentally damaging our wiring harness in the process. So at this point, we'll just get our tabs lined up. This will be a pretty snug fit. You'll just have to make sure everything is lined up and then give it a good push. And it should click into place, and that'll let you know that it's plugged in all the way. Now we're ready to install our fuse. We'll just pop our lid off of our fuse holder here and take our 15 amp fuse, get it lined up and pushed in. Close that cap, and now we'll test everything, make sure it's working. So now we have our 7-way tester connected to our harness. We do have these available here at eTrailer, or you could always hook up to your actual trailer to test everything. But I'll just run through all the lights, make sure everything's working. This should be our daytime running lights. This should be our left turn signal, our right turn signal, and our brake lights. Now that we've verified that everything's working as it should, and I reinstalled that plastic box, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the CURT T-Connector custom wiring harness with 7-way connector on our 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz.